My name is Carlos Amorales. I'm a Mexican artist. I live in Mexico City. And I'm an artist that deals with very different media. So I don't concentrate, let's say, in sculpture or in painting or photography or performance, but I really combine different forms of making art. I'm organizing all these pieces, which are they're like flutes. They're called ocarinas, and they're like very simple, primitive flutes. So you can make different sounds with them. And what it is an alphabet it's like an abstract alphabet where you can play music. Yeah, I've been interested in unreadable languages, like languages that you cannot properly understand when you're reading them. I started to work with them more from a typographical perspective, and then I came to this point where I thought, what about the sound? What happens when... Because it was all text, so it was really about reading. And when it came this question about the sound and how you speak, finally came this idea to make, let's say, like a sound typeface. There are 7 tables, and the idea is that they look a bit like when you have a bunch of paper and they fall. So you have like this kind of paper scatters on the space. And then in each one you have something that could look like a poem, but could also look like perhaps a list or a letter to somebody. Like, it's more about how we intuitively think text. So for instance, sometimes you think that that's a date, and that this is perhaps the number of a page. This could be a title. The conditions of the space, or installing something in the space, almost like a narrative. Like, it's really important how people enter, how people walk through, where the exhibition ends. No? So for instance, like in the exhibition here, like the fact that you go through the tables and you have time to go through the scores, and finally you can sit and watch a film, and then go back through the same. It also implies a certain narrative. I don't have a particular message or truth I want to tell others. I think at the end it's very open. But I like to give these certain clues that kind of allow the public to walk through the piece.
I'm from east of Turkey. It's Derik, and I work in Diyarbakır. When IS attack in Iraq and in Syria, a lot of people moved to the border of Turkey, and the Mohammed family come border of Turkey. He say me this one. This is, I think, important. He say, I want to go to my village fighting with IS. I say, okay, Mohammed, why you wait? Go. He said, now I am very small. When I take a gun, I need to be a little bit more tall, yes. This is reality of war. I want to you connected with your thought, your feel, you know. This is not his face. This is mirror of your reaction, you know. This kid is very strong, but he saw his cousin how IS terrorists how cut them, not only kid, how called them. You know, this is very big trauma. This trauma, in this video, I want to say this one. This trauma not only Muhammad trauma. This trauma, I think all of people's trauma. When you keep this one, you should understand this one. You should feel this one. And we feel.
I was born in Argentina. I then moved to Brazil when I was 7 and lived there until a few years ago. So like 3-4 years ago. So I would say I'm a Brazilian artist. That's my studies were made in Brazil. And I'm interested in how some things that are invisible become visible and the forms they take when they become visible. It's my curiosity was about how this fight for the female vote, for women's vote in the early 20th century, what were the images that they chose to attack when they decided to enter museums and galleries. It's this invisible, let's say, desire in this, or need, more than desire, I would say, this need to vote, this need to change the political situation, and how this fight for the vote, what kind of visibility it gained in the case of these actions in museums. The title of the work, Elements of Beauty, it comes from a statement by Mary Richardson, who was the suffragette that attacked the Velázquez piece. And she said she had destroyed the most beautiful woman in art history because the government was destroying the most beautiful woman in modern history, which was the leader of their movement that was arrested and being force-fed. And then she also said that justice is an element of beauty as much as color and line on a canvas. So that's where the title of the work comes from. Like, the reason why I didn't want the images was because I think people can imagine themselves. Use the images that they already have.
1951 census, the 4 most common jobs for women in London were domestic service, making and mending clothes, chairing and laundering, and nursing, in that order. The occupation of monarch might not have been listed in the census, but Queen Victoria was already sitting in the throne and would remain there for another half-century until her death. That year, 1901, the census revealed there were 1 million more women than men in England and Wales, and only 212 female doctors in the UK.